Hello guys, this is Dr. Possibility from Excel Academy. Thank you very much for joining me, and I do believe that you are going to subscribe to my channel and continue following this amazing channel. So in today's class, I'm just going to solve some few questions with you, and I do believe you guys will be able to follow up until the end of the class. So let me quickly go to the first question. The first question is saying, given that f of x is equal to negative x plus 4 square root, determine the domain of f of x and then sketch the graph of that. Okay, so let me quickly not waste your time and go to the solution. So we have been given f of x. So we have been given f of x to be equal to square root negative x plus 4. So we have been given f of x to be equal to square root negative x plus 4. Okay, so before we solve or we do anything, we need to look at what type of fraction or function is this. So if you look at this function is a radical function. Okay, so a radical function, it depends on what is inside. Okay, so this what is inside is what determines if this radical function will be defined or undefined, and the only way we do that is by making sure that we avoid the negatives. Okay, so in this case we do make sure that we avoid the negatives. All right, so for us to find the domain of our question, which is f of x is equal to that, for us to find the domain, we are just going to get what is inside there. So we are going to say domain is equal to, we get what is inside there, which is negative x plus 4, and then we say it should be greater than or equal to 0. Why are we writing that? We are writing that because we are making sure that we avoid the negatives. So if we work out this, we are going to have negative x is greater than or equal to negative 4. And then from here, you can simply multiply by a negative. You also multiply by a negative. So since we have multiplied by a negative, we do know that this sign will surely change. So we are going to have x is less than or equal to 4. All right, so this is the domain. So the domain, this is the answer for the domain. Or if we were to use the set builder notation, we can say from negative infinity towards to 4, of which 4 is part of the answer. So that's how you can easily illustrate using the set intervals. If I was to show this same answer using the number line, I'm going to draw this number line like that, and then I'll put my 0 there to demarcate negatives from positive. Then this will be negative infinity, then the other one will be positive infinity, and then I do know that 4 will be somewhere there. And then since 4 is included, I'm going to make a shaded circle. And then, of course, the direction is telling me that it's up to negative infinity. So what you need to take note is that the examiner would not want you to express all this, but maybe you can just express in that form, or that form. All right. So the next question is saying sketch the graph. The next question is saying sketch the graph. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go back. So we are saying f of x is simply equal to square root negative x plus 4, and then we have found that the domain is just simply equal to x should be less than or equal to 4. So from this information, we can easily sketch the graph of that function. Guys, I do believe you are following up my lesson. Please make sure that you subscribe to our channel. So from here, we can sketch. We know that every Cartesian plane has the y-axis and also the x-axis. Okay, so this is your x-axis. Now, before you do anything, you need to consider what is y when x is equal to 0. What is y when x is equal to 0? Because that's when you can know the y-intercept. So you can say when x is equal to 0, then we are going to have negative 0 plus 4. Automatically, we know that y will be equal to what? 2. So meaning this curve is cutting the y-axis on what? On 2. This curve is cutting the y-axis on what? On 2. And then where is this curve starting from? This curve is just simply starting from what? 4. Because from what? It's starting from 4. So when x is equal to 4, that's when y is equal to 0. So if I was to sketch the graph, you're going to find that my graph will come all the way from this side going that way. So it's going to be something like that. Okay, so from this same graph, it's very possible for you to even determine the range. It's very possible for you to even determine the range. Okay, so if I was to determine the range, you are going to find that the range will simply be equal to y is greater than or equal to what? 0. So that is our range. All right, so that's for the graph. That's for the second part. Let me just quickly go back and look at the next part. Okay, so the next part is saying determine the range of values of x for which we know that f of x is less than 4 minus x. Okay, so let me also quickly do this question with you guys, and I do believe you guys are enjoying accompanying me, and you guys are able to get one or two things from my solvings. Okay, so we have been given that we need to solve if at all this f of x was less than 4 minus x. So we have been asked to find the range of values of x, and we know that f of x is just simply equal to square root negative x plus what? Plus 4. All right, so how can you solve such a question? That's where everyone is trying to ask and find out. How can you easily work out such a question? So for you to work out such a question, you're just going to put square root negative x plus 4 on this side should be less than 4 minus x. Okay, so this is simply the inequality that you guys are going to have. So from here, since this is just one expression, so you're now going to look for the critical point. Okay, so you're going to look for the critical points. All right, so how can you look for the critical point? So when you look for the critical point, you need to understand that the domain is part of the critical point. Note that the domain is part of the critical point. Okay, the domain is part of the critical point. Okay, so your domain is part of the critical point, and you know that your domain, which is x, is supposed to be what? Less than or equal to 4. So if I was to get the critical point, one of the critical point is x is equal to what? 4. All right, so that is the first critical point. Now let's look for the next critical point. Okay, so the next critical point we can have is whereby we are going to get the same expression we are just going to get the same expression. So to get the same expression, we can say square root negative x plus 4 is simply equal to 4 minus x. So we are going to introduce a squared on both sides. We introduce a squared on both sides. So when we introduce a squared on both sides, you're going to discover that this square root and that square, they'll go, right? And then when we do that well, we are going to find that our answer will be as follows. So we are going to have something like negative x plus 4 is equal to, then this squared, it is 16, 2 times 4 is 8, times negative x, it's negative 8x, and then x squared is simply equal to x squared. Okay, so we have that as our first expression, as our equation which we need to work out. Okay, so from here you can take these guys to the other side. So it's going to be x squared minus 8x plus x plus 16 minus 4 is equal to what? 0. So from here you're going to have x squared minus 7x plus what? Plus 12 is simply equal to what? 0. All right. So from here, guys, it's very possible for you to simply find the product, sum, and factor. It's very possible for you to find the product, sum, and factor. So let's quickly look at the product, sum, and factor. So the product here is 1 times 12, which is simply 12, and then the sum is negative 7, and then the factors, it is 3 and 4. So to get that negative 7, this has to be negative and that has to be negative. When this multiplied by that, it will surely give us 12. Now, if you look at what we have here, so since the coefficient, please make sure that the coefficient, since the coefficient here is a 1, so that means that our x values will just be the opposite of those two guys. So what does this mean if I was to write it down? So you're going to find that x will be equal to 3, and again x will be equal to what? 4. So if you observe, you're going to discover that when we were up there, okay, when you observe, when we were up there, you're going to discover that what we found was that one of the critical points was what? X is equal to 4, which was coming from the domain. So since we already have x is equal to 4, we don't really need to worry about x is equal to 4. So we just have to pick one of them. We don't need to get both of them, but we just really need to pick one of them. Okay, so from this point, what are you supposed to do? So you have two critical points. You have two critical points, okay? You have two critical points, and these critical points are more like your references. So the first critical point, is x is equal to 3, and also the next one is x is equal to what? 4. Okay, so to work out this expression, you're just simply going to use the table. You can use the table. So you have that as your table. There we go. So this is our table of solutions. Yeah, so you're going to pick the critical point. So the first critical point is somewhere there, and the other critical point can be somewhere there. All right, okay, so the first critical point is a 3 and the other critical point is a 4. Okay, then you're going to say in this box you are picking values that are less than 3. So you're saying x is less than 3. And then on this box, we are picking values that are in between 3 and what? 4. That are in between 3 and 4. Okay. And then in this one, you're picking values that are greater than 4. You're picking values that are simply greater than 4. All right. So we still have that. We still have that guy there. So if we have this as our table, what are we going to use for this table? So for this table, you're going to work out the function, because the function here is square root negative x plus 4 should be less than what? 4 minus x. Okay, is it 4 minus x or x minus 4? Let me quickly go back to my equation. 4 minus x. Okay, I'm okay. So it's 4 minus x, guys. Okay, so we are simply picking up from there, and then in this also box we are going to use this same equation, this same expression, which is simply square root of negative x plus 4 should be less than 4 minus x. Okay, same applies with the other box. So the other box is also using this same equation, which is square root of negative x plus 4, which should be less than 4 minus x. Okay, so we have that. So in this box, we are saying, in this first box, we are just getting the value of x, which is less than what? Which is less than 3. So let's take a value which is less than 3. For example, if we were to get a value like a 0. So when you get a 0 there, you're going to have square root 4, and then this side it's going to be 4 minus what? 4 minus what? 4 minus 0. So this will be 2 is less than what? 4. 2 is less than 4. So automatically this part has agreed. Okay, let's go to this guy. So 3 and 4, the number in between these guys, you can get 3.25. Can we get that? Or we can get 3.75. Okay, let's get 3.75. So if we were to get, let x be equal to 3.75. okay, so if we were to get 3.75, so we are going to find that it's going to give us a square root of 0.25. okay, 0.425, which is less than 4 minus 3.75. So if you look at this, this is the same as square root of 4 is less than 4 minus 3.75 is going to give us 1 over 4. If we work this out, it's going to give us 1 over 2 is less than 1 over 4. So if you look at this expression is wrong. Therefore, this guy is not the answer. All right. Now, let's quickly go to the next part. So the next part is simply saying x should be greater than 4. So imagine if we take, let's say we take x to be equal to 7. So you're going to find that inside it's negative 7 plus what? 4. So this is the negative. It's going to give you negative square root negative what? 3. Because it is square root negative 3, this guy is discarded. Okay, so you just say discard. So what is our solution set? Okay, what is our solution set? That's the question that most of us are trying to ask. So the solution set here in this case, so the solution set in this case is just simple, very simple, very simple. So the solution set in our case is just x is less than what? 3. Okay, so solution set, which is SS, is equal to x should be less than what? 3. So x has to be less than 3, or you can use set builder notation, which is negative infinity to 3, of which 3 is not part of the answer. Alright guys, so this was for question 1, and I do believe you guys have followed up well. So let me go on to question 2. Okay, so let me quickly go to question 2, which looks to be very easy. So given the polynomial p of x is equal to that, p of x is equal to that, I just hope I'll be able to master that. P of x is equal to that, factorize that. Okay, so let me quickly work out this expression with you guys, and I do believe you guys are following up. Okay, so what we are simply saying, we are saying let p of x be simply equal to 6x to the power 4 plus x cubed minus 8 squared minus x plus what? 2. Wow, I really love these questions because they are one of the easiest questions that you can ever find in the exam, and they don't miss in the exam. Okay, so the first thing you need to look for is the zero root. Okay, so you need to look for the zero root of that expression. So you look for the zero root. Okay, so the zero root is just a root. When you put a number there, it's going to give you what? 0. Okay, and you can best get it from there. So you look at the factors of 2, which is 2 and 1. So meaning the range of your roots will be in the range of positive, negative 2, and also negative positive 1. So within that range, that's where you can easily get the zero roots. Okay, so from here guys, if I was to test a 1 there, it's going to be, so if I say, let's say I get p of 1, it's going to be 6 1 to the power 4 plus plus 1 cubed minus 8, sorry, that was supposed to be 8x squared, x squared minus 1 plus 2. All right, that's what is supposed to be there. So here guys, it's supposed to be x squared. Okay, so from there guys, what you're going to understand is something here. So if you get these guys, you're going to understand one thing there. So if you get a p of 1, p of 1 will simply give you 0. Okay, so when you work out everything there, it's going to be 6 plus 1, which is 7, 7 minus 8, which is negative 1, negative 1 minus 1, which is negative 2, plus 2, which is 0. So p of 1 is just simply equal to 0. So we have found that the zero root of that expression, one of the zero root of that expression is x is equal to 1. Okay, so for you to know the factor is the opposite of that. So you need to know that how did we get x is equal to 1? So we got x is equal to 1 when we did x minus what? 1. Okay, so it is from this guy, when we equated this guy, that's when we got x is equal to 1. So this guy is known as the zero root. Okay, this guy is known as the zero root, and then this guy on the other hand, okay, this guy on the other hand is known as the factor. Okay, so you guys should be able to differentiate the two. So this guy is a factor and this other one is a zero root, but it is from the factor that's where we get the zero root. Okay, so since we have one zero root, the only thing we can do now is to get the coefficients of that expression. Okay, so guys, I've not mastered the question, so I'll be going up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, so we have P of x is equal to 6x to the power 4, and then there it was supposed to be let me go up a bit. Like I've told you guys, I've not mastered the question, so expect me to be going up, down, up, down. So it was 6x to the power 4 minus, okay, I'm sure now I've mastered it a bit. Okay, 6x to the power 4, 6x to the power 4 minus x cubed, okay, and then I'm sure there should be a plus 8, should be plus 8x squared, plus 8x squared. I think they are a bit wrong. I don't know how I can master the expression, but yeah. Okay, 6 1 minus plus. Okay, 6 1 minus plus. Okay, 6 minus plus. Okay, I think now I've mastered the question. All right, so this is these guys are your coefficients. Okay, so we are going to use synthetic division for us to work out this question by using the coefficients. By using the what? The coefficients. Okay, so you are going to pick up the coefficients. Okay, so the coefficients of this equation are 6, okay, 1, -8, -1, and also 2. So you need to make sure that is there any of them which is missing? Is there any degree which is missing? Okay, so in this case none of the degrees is missing, and then you're going to draw that line like that, and then from there you're also going to put a 1, which was your zero root, which you simply found. Okay, so from there you're going to add 6 plus 0 here. It's going to be 6. 1 times 6, it is 6. 1 plus 6, it is simply 7. 1 times 7, it is simply equal to 7. -8 plus 7 is going to be equal to -1, and then 1 times -1, it's going to give you -1, and there it's going to give you -2. So when you multiply -2, it's going to give you -2 there, and this guy is giving you what? A 0. Okay, so from that, since your expression is to the power 4, this simply means that our next expression, which we can say q of x, so q of x will simply be equal to 6x cubed plus 7x squared minus x minus what? 2. So that's the next expression. So for this expression, you need to look for the zero root once again. So you need to look for the zero root of that expression. So let's look for the zero root for the expression. Which number, when you put in there, is going to give us a 0? Which number, when you put in there, is going to give us a what? a 0. Okay, so if I was to get -1, so let's say I say q of neg1. So q of neg1 is going to be 6 neg1 cubed plus 7 neg1 squared minus neg1 minus 2. So if I work out that, it's going to give me q of neg1 is simply equal to what? 0. Okay, so 0 is my 0 root for this expression. Once again, I'll use the synthetic division to work out. Okay, I'll use the synthetic division to work out. So I'm going to get the coefficients of those guys. So the coefficients in this case, it is 6, 7, -1 and -2. And then I'll use the synthetic division as I have said. Now in this case, my 0 root is -1. Okay, since my 0 root is -1, that simply means that I can easily work out. So if I say 6 plus 0, it is 6. -1 times 6, it's -6. 7 minus 6, it is 1. -1 times 1, it is -1. That times that plus that, it's -2. That times that, it's going to be 2. So this guy will be my reference point there, 2, which is giving me a 0. That means that my 0 root is okay. So from here, guys, now my polynomial, which I can say r of x is simply equal to 6x squared plus x minus what? 2. Okay, now to work out this one, this is a quadratic expression. So a quadratic expression can be worked using so many ways, but in this case I can try out product, sum and factor. So the product here, it is going to be neg12, the sum will be 1, and then I'm sure the factors will be 4 and 3, of which 3 will be negative. So after doing that, I can simply work out these guys. So I can simply work out these guys. Okay, so let me quickly go back and check out my quadratic equation. So my quadratic equation is that. So I can simply say 6x squared, I can put minus 3x plus 4x minus 2. Wow, I'm sure you guys are really following up my class. Please make sure that you subscribe to our channel. Okay, so from there you can factorize by grouping. You can easily factorize by grouping, by working out that guy and also working out that guy. So if we were to work out those guys, what are we simply having? So what we are simply having here, you can simply say 3x outside, open bracket, that will be 2x minus what? Minus 1. Okay, and then this guy can also be plus 2, and it's going to be 2x minus 1. Okay, so from that guys, you can easily state that this and that can be together. So you're going to have 3x plus 2 and also 2x minus 1. Okay, so remember there were some two factors which we found. The first factor we found was x minus 1, and the other factor which we had to find in the next expression, which was x plus 1. Okay, therefore we have factorized. So these are the 4 factors we have found. Okay, so let me quickly go back and look at my next question. On the same question, we have been given another question. Okay, so the next question is saying Find the value of x for which that polynomial is equal to 0. Okay, good. I hope you guys are really enjoying the class and you guys are able to follow up the class. Okay, so we have been told that let's find the values of x for which the polynomial is equal to 0. Let's find the value of x for which the polynomial is equal to 0. So guys, you are just saying p of x is equal to p of x is equal to 0. So you just equate this guy. So you can say when you equate this guy 3x plus 2, you equate it to 0. This is going to give you x is equal to negative 2 over 3. And then you can also say 2x minus 1 is equal to 0. So x will simply be equal to 1 over 2. And then again, you're going to equate that x minus 1 is equal to 0. So x is equal to 1. Then lastly, you can equate x plus 1 is equal to 0. So x is equal to negative 1. Then you have simply solved. Okay, so the third guy, it is solving the polynomial, solving the same guy. Okay, so the next one, it is saying you solve that. So we have found that 3x minus 2, okay, and then we also have x minus, is it a minus or a plus? The next other guy, it is a minus. A minus should be, let me go up a bit where we found the half. Okay, it was that. Okay, so it was 2x minus 1, then the other one is x minus 1, then the other one is x plus 1. Okay, so the next question is just simply telling us to solve that polynomial. Okay, so this is an easy question that everyone is expected to solve. Okay, so we have been asked to find the solution for that polynomial. Okay, so for us to solve the polynomial, this is 3, the third part, which is c. So for us to find the polynomial there, you just simply work out using the critical points. Okay, you work out using the critical points. Okay, so let's look for the critical points. Okay, so the critical point in this case, you are going to find that x is equal to 2 over 3, and then you know that x, is it 2 over 3 or negative? I think I have put a something there. Yeah, this was a plus here, so this guy is supposed to be a plus. Okay, this guy is supposed to be a plus there, which I have accidentally put a minus because I'm tired of solving something. Okay, so this is a plus there. All right, so when you look at the inequalities, for you to solve the inequalities, you need to look at the critical points. Okay, you need to look at the critical point. So in our case, what is our critical point? Okay, so the critical points are simply coming from that same expression. So this will be negative that, and then the other guy will be x is equal to half, and then the other guy will be x is equal to 1, and the other guy is x is equal to negative 1. Then you can use the table to work them out. You can use the table to work them out. So let me quickly use the table to work out this expression. Let me quickly use the table to work out this expression. So what I'm going to do is I'll draw my table like that. So I'll draw my table like that. Okay, so this table is going to have 4 critical points. It's going to have 4 critical points. Okay, so I'm going to have that part. So the first part will be this guy, which should be the smallest. Amongst these guys, which one is the smallest? You find that the smallest is -1. So -1 will be there. Okay, I'm going to put my -1 there. Sorry, my line is bad. I'm finding challenges in drawing these lines. Okay, so this guy is my first stationary point. So the stationary point there, it will be like that. Then the next one has to be negative 2/3. So -2/3 will be there, followed by half, half. So half is going to be somewhere there, half. Then the last one will be 1. Okay, the last one will be 1. So these are my critical points. These are my critical points. Yeah. So upon doing that, I can easily put in the sign. So the first one, which is this one, I'm going to say x should be less than -1. Then the next one, x should be in between those two guys, like that. And the next one, x should be in between those two guys. Let me put x there, like that. And then the next one, I'm going to say x should be in between those two guys, which is x there, 1. And then the last one will be x should be greater than what? 1. Okay, so those are the expressions that I'm going to make. So after doing that, I now need to get the factors. Okay. So the first factor is going to be the first one where I got that guy. So that guy came from 3x plus 2. Then I'm also going to get 2x minus 1. Then I'm also going to get x minus 1 and x plus 1. Okay, so those are the 4 components of that expression. Then what's needed is just me to make sure that I test and try out these guys. Okay, I test and try out these guys. Okay, so guys, don't mind my handwriting. So if I get any number less than -1, for example -2, that will be negative. Okay, let me use a different color. And then when I get that same -2, that will be negative, that will be negative, that will be negative. Okay, then if I get a number between -1 and -2/3. Okay, so which number can that be? So this is 0. This guy is more like 0. This guy is more like you have 2/3. So 2/3, when you work it out, so 2/3, 3 into 2, 3 into 2, it is 0. So this is more like 0.66 something. So if I was to get, let's say 0.75, okay, -0.75, which is 3/4. So if I get 3/4 there, what am I going to have? So -3/4, -3/4 is going to give me -9/4, -9/4, and that will give me 8. So here it will be negative there. Okay, then this the same negative 3 over 4, I put it there, is going to be neg 6 over 4. So neg 6 over 4, when I work it out, minus 1 is going to give me a negative there. So this will be a negative. So again, if I put negative 3 over 4, that will be a negative there. If I put negative 7 over 4, that will be a positive. I get a number in between negative 2 and 1 over 2. Okay, so for this guy, it's very easy. So for this guy, I can get a 0. So 0 there, it will be positive. 0 there, it will be negative. 0 there, it will be negative. 0 there, it will surely be positive. I get a number in between there, which is 3 over 4. So if I put 3 over 4 there, it will be positive. I put 3 over 4 there, which is going to be 3, that's 6 over 4, that is 6. This will also be positive. After that, if I put this guy 3 over 4 there, so if I put 3 over 4 there, it's going to be negative. If I put 3 over 4 there, it's going to be positive. I get a number bigger than 1, let's say 2. 2 there, it's going to be positive. 2 there, it's going to be positive. 2 there, it's going to be positive, and they are also positive. All right, so those are my testings. So when I do the testings, now what's next? That's the question. So if I do my testing, what's next? Okay, so once I do my testing, the next thing I need to do is to simply multiply these values. Okay, so to simply multiply, so negative times negative times negative, that will give me a positive. Negative times negative, positive, that will give me a negative. There, that part, it will be positive. That part will be negative. That part will be positive. Okay, then after doing that, I need to compare these signs to my original expression. So my original expression is somewhere up. What was the sign? So from my original expression, the sign is less than. Okay, so since the sign is less than, what I'm supposed to do is to compare my sign with the symbols that I have gotten, and from there I can pick it up. So I can see that it is negative. Since it's negative, so my answer will be this region and also that region. Okay, my answer will be those two regions. All right, so it's very easy to work out these things. It's very easy to work out these things. So my answer will be x is between -1 and -2 over 3, and also half and 1. Okay, so that's my solution. So like I have said, my solution set will be equal to x is equal to -1 less than x, and then that's -2 over 3, and then my other solution set is half less than x and also less than 1. Right, so this, guys, is the answer for that question. This is the answer for that question. I do believe it has been a long journey for us to work out this question, and it has lasted us somewhere 30 minutes. Okay, so let's continue working out the next question. Okay, so let's quickly do the third one. I'm pretty sure we'll be as fast as we can because it's a very easy question. So the third question is saying we have been given x over x minus 3 is greater than or equal to half. Okay, so one of the common mistakes that students make during the exam is that they tend to cross multiply. But for inequalities, the rule is that do not cross multiply. Okay, so in this case, we are going to take this guy to the other side. So it's going to be x minus 3 minus 1 over 2 is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so that's what we have there. So from there, if you work it out from that point, you're going to find that the common denominator for these two guys is just simply x minus 3 and 2. Okay, so this into that, it is that, so 2 times x, it is 2x, and then minus 1 from that. This times that, or this into that, it is that, so that times that is going to be x minus 3. Okay, so if we work it out there, and it has to be greater than or equal to 0. So if we work it out from there, you're going to find that you're going to have 2x minus x minus 3, so which is plus, because minus times minus, it is plus, over this times that is going to be 2x minus 6 is greater than or equal to what? 0. Okay, so that is what we have on top, which can easily be simplified, So let's quickly simplify that expression. So if we were to simplify that expression, we are going to have x plus 3 over 2x minus what? 6 is greater than or equal to what? 0. So it's greater than or equal to 0. All right, so after that, we are now going to look for the critical point. So let's quickly look at the critical point. Okay, so critical points. So if you look at the critical point, you're going to find that x is equal to -3, and also x will be equal to 3. Okay, so those are the two critical points. Okay, the first point is coming from the numerator and the other one is coming from the denominator. So after doing that, you can now easily use the table to work that out. You can now usually use the table to work that out. Unfortunately, my handwriting has always been the poorest handwriting in the world. So I just hope when I grow up, I'm going to have a very good handwriting. Okay, so those are the two critical points that we have. So I'm going to use the table to draw the to test the critical point. Okay, so the first critical point, it is -3, it's going to be there, and the other one, it is a 3, which I'm going to put there, and then I'm going to demarcate that, and also I demarcate that. Okay, so the first, in this box, it will be x is less than -3, and then the next box, it will be -3 x and also 3, and then the other box, it will be x should be greater than what? 3. Okay, then after that, I'm now going to get the point. The numerator was x plus 3 and the denominator was 2x minus 6. Okay, so that was the denominator and that was the numerator. Okay, so I'll start with the first one, which is x should be less than 3. So when we do x is less than 3, we are going to find that we get a number less than 3. For example, -4, it's going to be negative. -4 there, it's going to be negative. We get a number in between those two guys, we can get 0. 0 there, it is positive, and 0 there, it's going to be negative. Then we get a number greater than 3, for example 4. 4 there, it will be positive. 4 there, it will also be positive. Okay, so after finding these guys, the only remaining part is us to multiply them. So we can easily multiply those guys. So we can say that times that it's positive, that times that it's negative, that times that it's what? Positive. So after doing that, we can go back to the expression and check what was the sign. Okay, what was the sign? Automatically the sign was greater than. Automatically the sign was greater than. Okay, so since the sign was greater than, that means we are picking, we're simply picking this part and that part, of which we know this part is x is less than -3, and the other part is x is greater than what? 3. Okay, now the expression is x plus 3 over 2x minus 6 should be greater than what? 0. And we have said that these are our answers, but because of this sign, you discover that our answer, when you put -3 there, it will be 0. Okay, so because the numerator is 0, nothing will get affected. Okay, so that means that for the numerator, we can easily put an equal to down there. So you put an equal to there. Then for the denominator, if you put a 3 there, it's going to be 6. So when the denominator is 0, it's going to be undefined. So meaning you won't have to put an equal to there. That's for testing. So therefore, the solution set is just equal to x is less than or equal to -3, is less than or equal to -3. Let me write that quickly. So our solution set is just simply equal to x is less than or equal to -3 and x is greater than 3. Or we can use set builder notation. We say open -infinity, comma -3, closed, and then union. You can simply say open 3 towards to infinity. Then that's your answer for those two guys on top. Okay, so let me go and check out number 4. So if you look at number 4, it's the same concept with what I've taught on number 3. So you just need to take this guy to the other side. Okay, so when you take that guy to the other side, then you work them out and just simplify. Okay, you work them out and simply simplify. So I'm not going to solve that for you. I'm not going to solve this question for you. Instead, I'll give you as an assignment. So like I've said, I'm saying you say 2x minus 6 over x plus 3. You take those guys to the other side, it will be plus x, and then it will also be plus what? 2 is less than what? 0. Okay, so from there you are going to understand that this is over 1, this is also over 1, right? So common denominator there, it is x plus 3, right? So this into that, you find that 2x minus 6, and then you say plus, you get that x there, you get the x there. So the x is going to be alone, which is x. 1 into that is that, so you're going to say x plus 3, and then you get the other friend. So let me quickly get the other friend. So when you get the other friend, which is a 2, so 2 will give out plus 2x plus 3, okay, is what? Less than 0. So from here, guys, like I have said, I'm not going to finish this question so that you guys can easily go and work it out. So I'm not finishing. Please make sure that at your free time you finish up the question. Okay, so sorry for that work up there. So the work up there is for the previous question. All right, so let me just erase that. I just want to leave it at a point where you guys can easily pick it up. So from there you can easily work out that. So when you work out that, it's going to be 2x minus 6 plus x squared plus 3x plus 2x plus 6 over x plus 3 is less than what? 0. So if you look at that, if you can easily work it out from there, you can easily say that and that and that is going to give you what? That those three guys. This is 5x, 7x. So it's going to give you x squared plus 7x over x plus 3 is less than 0. You know, that guy and that guy, there we go. Yeah, so from here, guys, I'm sure you can pick it up and you'll be able to solve these questions. So I hope you guys enjoyed my class, and I do believe you guys, you're going to give me some suggestions on where I can improve technologically. So in the meantime, please, if you want to get in touch with me with that assignment, you can WhatsApp me on positive 26 0965 887474. All right, guys, this is Dr. Possibility from Excel Academy, and I really enjoyed having this class with you. Take care and have a blessed night.